Hello friends, Operator Starsky. Behind my back, two foreign volunteers from the organization called Forever with Ukraine, showing to my guys how to examine a wounded soldier according to the march protocol in terms of massive bleeding, checking airways, respiration, hypothermia and things like that. And that is tremendously important because some of those guys have combat experience, but majority of them, they are completely new, they have no experience whatsoever. They need to know this information because it's supposed to save lives. Oleg, why are you here?
So when the war kicked off, I saw a lot of atrocities being committed, just evil things being done, and I'm Ukrainian. This is my place, just like every other Ukrainian that's on the front line. I have to come and help.
And originally you live in the US?
Yeah, Syracuse in the state of New York. I was born in Ukraine though. I was born in Ivano-Frankivsk.
Oh.
And my family, we won a green card when I was 6 years old, and we went to live in the States.
My ex-wife comes from Ivano-Frankivsk. It's a nice place, yeah.
It's beautiful.
I met you last year in Hostomel for the first time. How did your life change since last year?
In the beginning of last year, I didn't know what to do in this country. I came here to join the Legion, and join the fight. And when I went to go to the Legion headquarters and submit my application, they told me to just go home. But I didn't want to leave. I had motivation to come and help, and I couldn't just sit back and continue to watch. So we ended up starting a volunteer organization called Forever with Ukraine. My family and I ended up starting that. And we started working with the military, beginning with a lot of military uniforms, thanks to Bradley Surplus and my friend Josh in the States. At first, that was kind of like the big goal, was help supply our soldiers with as much of these things that they need so they can be more effective, along with like medical supplies and other things. And then this organization, which was maybe like 6 or 7 people, started to grow way out of proportion, and now there's like over 70 volunteers that help us worldwide, from Spain, from Germany, from Austria, from the United States, from Canada, from Australia, from Norway, from Sweden. I mean, and the list just goes on.
There's a lot of volunteers from different countries, not ethnically Ukrainians, but all kinds of people. How do you think, what makes them keep supporting Ukraine?
To be honest, I think it's the people here. They see this deep Ukrainian culture and tradition, and just the average person, it's incredible to see, because I'm Ukrainian, but because I speak English more naturally than I speak Ukrainian, people immediately recognize that I'm, kind of a foreigner. And it's almost like they put me on a pedestal, and they put all these other foreigners on a pedestal, and they treat them so kindly. They give them a place to live. They give them food. They give them just the respect that, wow, you're here and you're helping my country, and you don't need to be here. You could be in your own country, living your own life, a comfortable life where there's not a war. And I think that the Ukrainian people, the respect, the hospitality that they show, it inspires many foreigners to stay. It inspires many foreigners to want to continue to help. I can't tell you how many foreign friends I have that are now married to Ukrainian girls, and how many want to say, I will never go back to Australia, I will never go back to the United States, I want to live here. And I think they see like this Ukrainian culture, which it almost resembles a culture of the United States in like the 90s. It's beautiful, really is. There's good and there's evil in the world, and this is a clear definition of good and evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that a lot of people can see the dividing line, and obviously see which side Ukraine stands on. And it gives a lot of people purpose. And again, like I said, the people here, they make it a lot easier. The decision isn't hard to make once you're here.
There are people who want to help Ukraine somehow. Maybe they want to come to Ukraine and do something to help civilians or military. As a volunteer who spent more than a year here, what can you advise to those people?
Find a contact, find an organization, find somebody in the country that's doing good things. It's kind of like you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of volunteers that come here and they don't have a plan. They don't have a goal. They just want to say, I want to change my life. I want to go help. I see there's a need for help. Sometimes finding your role is very difficult. I know a lot of volunteers that have come to Ukraine. They come to Kyiv and they're like, I'm here and I'm ready to help with the best intentions. They have an open heart, a good heart, and they want to help a country that's in need. But they don't have a goal, they don't have a purpose, and they don't have a connection where they can go. So a lot of times it's really sad to see because they spend like 2-3 weeks around Kyiv and they try to find a purpose for themselves.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is they get burned out because they start running out of money. Even though Ukraine is a very cheap place to live, and the food is cheap, and like hotels are cheap, and all that stuff is cheap. Over the course of like 2-3 weeks or a month or so, you start to get burned out because like you don't have a purpose, you don't have a clear goal of what you actually want to do. So like, let's say you're like an ex-military person. If you've served in the military and you have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tactics or when it comes to tactical medicine, connect yourself with an organization that's doing some kind of training, or an organization that's delivering military aid or advising on the front line or doing CASEVAC or medevac. And if you have that specific profession, you have a certain skill set, like a paramedic. Paramedics are in such high demand because of the fact that there's so many injuries, like whether it's working in a stabilization point or a hospital near the front line. Find a place, find a person and a good connection that can help you find that role here. Don't just come here without a plan, because that's unfortunately one of the worst things that could happen. You end up spending quite a bit of money. If you found a connection prior to coming here, instead of just kind of wandering or trolling around Kyiv, that money could be put into tourniquets. That money could be put into like hemostatic gauze or nasopharyngeal airways or NPAs or chest seals, and those things are in very, very high demand. Not everybody has to come here to make a difference, and I think that's a big thing that people need to understand is like there's going to be a place and a time for volunteering of all different kinds. Like if you're in a construction background, when this war is over, we're going to need you here.
Oh yeah,
we need you to come here afterwards, and we need you to help rebuild this country. But right now, a lot of times finding avenues to be useful in those realms, it's really difficult because there's not a lot of people focusing on reconstruction right now. A lot of people are focusing on ending the war, on helping civilian evacuations, helping civilian missions, humanitarian missions there's a crisis all over, especially with the new Kherson Dam incident. There's a lot of new volunteers that came, and all those volunteers that came, there was a huge line right outside of Kherson, like that was like 5 kilometers long, people trying to get into Kherson, and they didn't have a clear plan. They didn't have an idea of like, they were just, we saw a natural catastrophe and we wanted to go there and help. But there were so many volunteers that a lot of them just sat around and almost did nothing. They spent quite a bit of money to come here. They spent a lot of resources to come here, but they weren't able to use those resources and those funds to actually make a huge impact. So connect yourself with somebody that's doing something here already. There's a lot of really, really good resources and a lot of great organizations out there, like Stand With Ukraine,
Forever With Ukraine.
Forever With Ukraine, our organization, Protect a Volunteer. There's so many wonderful organizations that already have ideas and plans in this country, and connecting with them to see when they need a volunteer, or connecting with them maybe whether they need resources or funding, and you can do just as much good by making a donation sometimes.
NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade, we gotta mention this one.
Yeah, absolutely. They do amazing work, and they need resources, they need funds. There's so many different brigades that are consistently asking for funds, like to buy like a thermal or to buy like a pair of NVGs and vehicles that literally get blown up left and right. The money that somebody could put in on a plane ticket and to live in Kyiv for like 3 weeks or a month could buy a vehicle for a unit that can use that vehicle to do an evacuation or to transport soldiers across the front line. And that is going to have a much bigger impact than just somebody coming over here to try to find their role. The best thing that we can do is end this war. The best thing we can do is kick Russia out and prevent this humanitarian crisis from happening in the first place.
There will be time to help in terms of rebuilding country. There
100%.
will be time to drink with Starsky and Oleg. Absolutely, I promise you. But currently, the situation is a bit different. How dangerous is it to stay in Ukraine, in Kyiv, for example?
It's not like everybody makes out that, oh my God, there's Shahid and rocket strikes every day. Because there is, but the air defense around Kyiv
Air defense is nice.
It's incredible. I mean, like 95% of the rockets that are shot into Kyiv are being knocked out because of the support from the United States, from England, from Germany.
From Germany,
with the new air defense systems that came in.
Israel.
Yeah, Israel. The support from different nations has made it so that Kyiv is probably one of the safest places in terms of like a defensive posture and a defensive city across the world. It's like a couple nights ago we were staying in our hotel and we hear and stuff is blowing up in the air. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a little bit more dangerous than most cities. Like it's definitely more dangerous than like Paris or like London or New York City or Los Angeles. But it's not like you need to walk around with a plate carrier and a helmet around Kyiv. Like some people make it out that it's just like, whoa, you're in a war zone. My goodness.
Would you advise people to come here with their families or children?
I definitely don't think it's a vacation spot. It's
not yet.
Not yet. I think when the war is over, when the rebuilding begins, I think this is going to be one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Just with the culture and the traditions of Ukrainian people, combined with the rebuilding effort from the entire world, Kyiv is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Like when Mariupol is back and Mariupol is ours, it will literally be one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I would definitely advise everybody to come here and help rebuild, help Ukraine become the city and the country that it was always meant to be. But until the war is over, keep supporting the people that are already doing the things that they're doing. Not to kind of whine or complain, but there's a lot of organizations like the Red Cross and the UN that get so much funding and so much support, but sadly they
suck.
They really suck.
They fucking suck. They like the most useless organizations that you can have.
If you the area that we're sitting in right now, the International Red Cross headquarters is actually right next to us.
You suck,
guys, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe, and then three brand new vehicles, some of which are armored, and I've never seen them leave Kyiv. They drive around with armored vehicles, they drive around with brand new vehicles. For the cost of one of these vehicles, a Ukrainian unit can buy 10 4x4 trucks or 10 4x4s, just any kind of vehicles that can help them help their mobility across the front line, can help them with evacuations. These vehicles get shot up all the time. Already comes, like a piece of shrapnel hits the engine or pops a tire, and that vehicle is no longer effective. And this is like a resource that is consistently needed. There's just not enough armored vehicles. There's not enough Humvees. There's not enough MRAPs. There's not enough vehicles for these guys to get around in the front line. And sometimes, unfortunately, the fact is that they use civilian vehicles. Like when you're near, like I was near Kurakhova, near Vuhledar in Pavlivka, and there's guys driving around in Ladas from like the 80s, although that is very good camouflage.
Not bad.
The Russians don't want to target the old Ladas, the bright red Lada. They see an old Lada driving across the front line, like through like a drone. They also see a truck. What would you rather shoot? Like what would be your optimal target? I would aim for the truck.
Like I would prefer Lada over like truck, because I hate communism so much. In conclusion, I would like to say huge thanks to you and people like you for what you're doing, because it is so important for all Ukrainians. We will never forget what you're doing.
I'm always here to help, man. I'm Ukrainian, just like everybody here. Do you guys mind coming over here for just a moment? Real heroes. This is Jack, Force X Canada.
What's up, guys? Nice to meet you.
This man doesn't have any Ukrainian roots. This is Jake.
What's up?
This is a man from Texas. Who,
Cowboys.
Ex-veteran. Well, not ex-veteran. He's a veteran who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he doesn't have Ukrainian roots. He doesn't have a Ukrainian background, but he sees the evil and the atrocities that the Russian army is committing to the Ukrainian people, and he's here to make a difference. He's not Ukrainian, but he's here, and he believes in the Ukrainian people. I think at this point you might consider yourself Ukrainian.
You've made us Ukrainian, Oleg.
Yeah.
You brought us into your family. You've made
adopted
us
Ukrainian family.
Ukrainian family. That's
And our team that we work with on the base, it's all like this. We have our friends Alicia, who's from Australia, Simon, who's from Norway, Casper, who's from Germany, Felix, who's from Australia, who you met in Hostomel way back, Stefan, who's from Holland, Netherlands. And again, these people have no connection, no roots to Ukrainian people, but they see the evil and the atrocities that the Russian people are committing, and they're here to make a difference. They're here to help just because they have a big heart and they believe this is the right thing to do. I'm no hero, man. I'm here because these are my people and this is my obligation. This is my duty. These are the real heroes. I mean, these are guys that left their families behind. These are guys who left their comfortable lives, you know, and they came here to help save Ukrainian lives. I mean,
two main features that all the heroes and volunteers, foreign volunteers, have is like being decent and shy.
Sometimes, yeah, I see that very frequently.
All the time.
Yeah.
As I'm saying all the time, we have friends, and this means a lot. And this is why I'm 100% sure Ukraine is gonna win this war.
No doubt. Yeah.
100%.
I think Ukraine won the war yesterday when.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Holy shit. Russia invaded by Russians. Anyways, guys, I hope that those who want to come to Ukraine and those that look for information regarding this will find this video useful.
Yeah.
And
please reach out. I have an Instagram. It's not the most popular, but it's Oleg Forever Ukraine.
Yeah, it's in the description to this video.
If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to help anybody find their way. And I'll be honest with you, I'll advise you not to come sometimes. Sometimes this isn't a place for certain people. There's a lot of ways that you can benefit and help save some people. You don't have to personally be here to be involved in winning this war. There's just so many friends and so many supporters from the States that make it possible for me to do what I do, and for my team to make it possible for them to do what they do. And without this support, we wouldn't be able to train these soldiers. Like over the last 3 months, we've trained over 600 soldiers in a very competent TCCC course. We trained over 100 medics, CLS medics, for squads, and like actual combat medics, like more platoon size and company size medics who can give advanced levels of care. So I beg you for your help so that we can continue to do what we do and continue to give out the medical training that we do to help save lives. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Don't forget to subscribe to Oleg's Instagram. And thank you so much. My name is Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.